Yes, good evening. It's Lynn here. Gom'S Gospel number 7. Well, this is just an update. In case you were kind of wondering or going out and looking where to find me on Instagram, as I kind of mentioned earlier than that, because of all the jumps ins and all the fakes and this and that, and you don't know who to trust in that, and as I say, people that are just interfering and kind of messing it up for the people that prefer to be straight across and not be part of a scam and associated in that. Well, just to kind of run clean of that, I'm just putting this out from now on and this will be the only apparent thing, but any further stuff that you want to go and see, you can go over to Google and look up for Gom'S Gospels or Lynn Johnson. You can refer to my videos there. And at least on YouTube, when you go over there, you know exactly what it is. My contact information is there. And there's another thing, it wasn't a matter of deliberate thing, and total honesty. Old in technology, and I did a dumb thing, of course, but then, what do you expect? My phone, when I was in the middle of recording a video, essentially all of a sudden it jammed up because my storage is full. And I went in and wiped out all my videos, and then I found out that all the stuff that was up and running on iCloud adjacent that was loaded into Instagram, it was gone too. However, it's still over on YouTube, so that being the case, if you want to go over and continue to be tortured by my stuff, there I am, and happy to torture you. And anything to spread a little bit of joy and happiness in the world, kind of some similar regard to seeing what's the popular thing, but pardon me, I try to be helpful and kind of give some people some helpful, constructive advice. It's no scam or illusion, and possibly there's some of us that basically you can trust and give you some value for the money, and sometimes the value is it can be worth a whole lot more than what some other people are charging you for your money, and just for the sake of it. And, you want some, hey, fine, take it, who cares? And besides, it won't be the surprise, because I don't expect some people on a limited budget to expect to pay any more than the really rich people that seem to entitled to basically rip you off and rob you blind just because they're in a situation, even if you catch them, they probably expect to basically load up a fortune to make some other lawyer that's probably basically loading back a percentage of them for being referred to get the business while they give you the business. But that's the way of the world these days. But you can trust me, and yeah, my prices are reasonable. How does free sound or whatever? But that's usually the price of love. Love is freely given and that. But when you get worked over and getting that other thing or really getting it, that always pays and that always costs, and it's really not worth the money, no matter how much or little, whatever. Exactly. So, for the love of it and nothing, and not any money involved, come see me on YouTube. And it's too bad there's too many people and con artists out there. This Instagram is kind of a decent thing, but I prefer to run with things that are a little more straightforward and less shifty. And so, and where you can be trusted. But as far as any of the gals or stuff like that, as I say, if you leave a reply or you follow or this and that, well, that's fine. But as I say, if you're real, and you want to show you're real, or any guy that you really are real, then fine. You're not going to have any problem with contacting me through my suggestion. My phone number, my email, or go over to the YouTube. You find my contact in the comments section. And as well as that, I'm going to start that series on things about the comparatives and things for people that are a little cautious or whatever and don't know what to do in the midst of this insecure world with all these guess the jungle out there and all the scams and that, how to basically properly take care of yourself and provide something of value, of worth in that, because the truth of the matter is what's coming up as far as equitable worth. There is kind of a thing, and similar to these celebrities out here that's on fame and the glitz and the sizzle of, I got to basically, and isn't this special, or, but on celebrity and the fame. But as Dwight Yoakam said many years ago, God rest Dwight Yoakam, I really respected the guy because when he got up on the stage, it was just matter of fact, hi, this is me, run into the tune, give him the goods, give him what was real, and hi, thanks, and where you going. He didn't basically get up into the the fuzz and the jazz of that. And I remember a quote that he once said. He said, it's kind of pathetic the way people have just got preoccupied about this fascination, the cause, and the drive for celebrity. But he was a good guy, and deep down and stuff, well, he was a guy that just didn't see the note of basically worshipping golden calves either. So, exactly him. But he was a cowboy. I guess he knew about cows, enough cows as far as front and back end of horses, and cows and calves and bulls. And yeah, there was a guy that basically knew the difference from one end of the horse and the other, and basically didn't serve you anything from the back end of the bull, which kind of seems to be a popular menu item for the people that give you that. And basically, when your back's turned, they rob you for anything they can off of the internet by not being real and really shifty. Well, they make a real big buck with all this stuff that makes them far richer. And oh, do we respect or idolize them? No, but they got all the AI and the big rigs and things that they're going to take your money anyways. So, in the meantime, keep it to a minimum. I see you on YouTube. Nice to see you on Instagram for a while, but it really wasn't real enough that I felt real comfortable about being any more associated. And I'm leaving this video to let you know that here I am, and I'm over there now, and at least on YouTube, when you see me there, you can trust that that is real. And I think you get the gig. In the meantime, best regards. Oh yes, just one other thing. At any rate, another oversight, so I gotta go out and splice these two sections together. This would be the last thing that you see on Instagram as far as the permanent video, as far as the reference over. But as you know, I in the background, a multi-$100 trillion economic recovery thing that plugged in would basically run, and as well as that, there's been some additional things. So as far as give or take 400 on a self-sustaining, on a return recyclable, basically, I don't know, there's always going to be garbage and stuff and waste in that as far as stuff. Well, as far as the reconstitution of the composting and reassessment, turning its CO2 advantage and basically a consumable turnaround that's an ongoing sustainable paradigm and efficiencies, which really makes it the cat's pajamas and stuff. And that's why some of the big guys are pretty upset that we've got something that has totally upset the apple cart of that silly ass Agenda 21 and New World Order, which is really an obsolete, really inept, and really inadequate a piece of old junk. It's kind of the old thing, and the new improved thing will hopefully just push it out of the way and get it up. And you know, that beast of a mistake, kind of dead, shredded, and rotting on the beach where it damn well belongs permanently. Goodbye, good riddance, and on to some better things. But, you know, why keep something old and useless that just doesn't make sense when you get the age-old, something new and improved, and this time it is. And it's actually good for you instead of a real mess and a real disappointment and not what it's supposed to be. But at any rate, yeah, we're going to go back to the old standards where you get something of worth and there's no deception. It's actually something of benefit. But, oh, wow, what a concept. We haven't had that for ever since some other people basically started running things, so it just didn't make sense. And we got to the bottom as to why, and now hopefully it will again. But at any rate, as far as those other inventions, and as they say about flying in the flux and literally floating up, and it's pretty simple technology if you know the poles and the multipliers, and just basic simple things and basic conceptuals off of basic building blocks and simple flux and the ionics and building block of the universe. You get the base multipliers and denominators. It's just like you take a brick. If you know how to put the bricks together, you can build a fairly complicated house. Exactly. So it's not that. Well, it's one thing or the other. It's one thing or the other. I mean, how difficult can reality may be when it isn't in fact that simple, and it is that simple. But so as far as that and some other things, and basically putting the proper fielding thing on the wall of your house and kind of concentrating a fielding thing or convection exchange to pull it out of the pull electricity right out of the winds and that, and a simple comparative kind of variation. But it's an improvement. Like I say, Tesla and those guys, they're always going on a balanced thing of a theory, but they were basically working on reality after reality had become created, as opposed to down to the basic creation function, which is different because creation function is kind of from a net zero to actually something, where actually when something in terms of the the creation, destruction, and the light and the dark energy, which is the reality once it's there. Well, in terms of the aftermath when it's out, well, you're basically working at about 14% loss. So, you always got basically air shrinking out of the basketball if you're trying to recreate that, and laws of exponential and diminishing returns. That's why, as far as life cycle, they say that the universe only has, what is it about? I don't know, 430 billion at a time, 430 billion lights, on the spin out, But when you basically understand how to go to origin theory all the time, it doesn't have to be that way. It can just go on and on forever. And, who was it, damn Brahmin or whatever? Well, they were thinking like Tesla, and it was a little old-fashioned, but if you go right to the back to the origin, creation dynamic, but that was so long ago, and they came into reality, so they didn't run around for the basic origin when it became, so how would they known about it? But they really think about it and go back to the logic thing, So as far as the fact that they're talking about 4.32 billion and we're at something and it's almost time for it to be over, excuse me, but you get the origin of that, and as far as the cycles, we're just going to go on and on and on forever, because let's not make a building a better mousetrap. It's just basically figuring out how to tweak it up and fine-tune it so it lasts forever. It's not that difficult. It was just the common sense, and because let's face it, we were dealing with a creation destructive dynamic. It's always going to end. It's an inevitability of the mathematical functions. So you can realize at that point, came from nothing to the all. So in that case, when you had 100% of the once it was, well then figure out the simple logic of the basic creation formula so you can keep it pooping up to 100% or keep making it more and more and more and more. And that point, then you have to realize where you can basically field out some dark energy from beating off that dying and stuff and do a quick conversion. Just think about it, blow it out, and build a whole bunch of new universes. Been doing that for the last 27 years. It's not that hard. It's just a matter, it's the thought that counts and knowing how to do it. And it's pretty darn simple, but they're just too smart to listen because they're busy with technologies and certain reactors and going about it. Yeah, trying to figure out the origin theory and the creation theory and an aftermath of the creation after the fact isn't the origin function in the first place. So how can you find it if you look in a place where it's impossible that it'll ever be? And they don't love me for it, but at least I'm going to save somebody out there hundreds of billions while they're getting all excited about building more super colliders to not find what it's impossible to find. But, when is this the first time that smart guys are spending and wasting a whole bunch of money and things? Been going on for too long. We're all used to it, right? And taxes we pay. Oh well. Rich kids, smart rich kids spending money that's not theirs and schmoozing the public to what's new. But at any rate, in the meantime, folks, as far as all that other stuff and the things that I was saying, if they pay and they put the money in the line, everybody can benefit. And, well, nobody keeps getting back, and the apps, and basically my phone keeps sabotaged. And I had literally some things where people were trying to terminate me to keep me shut up about the fact that they didn't want to wipe out their billion programs that were going to basically run us down the toilet anyway, so we had something to say. But so I just find them all, if that gets going, that's fine. That's all in place. But I don't want to have anything to do with doing business with those people that I have to if we got the other thing going. So the people that I put it in the responsible hands, they can go ahead and have the credit and make all the money and do all those things that they like doing. And me, I'm just going to stay out of the way. But as far as the other things, and the anti-gravity and the damage, literally, just having a properly ionized charged rock and it'll ping it. Basically, old salvage some old electric motors, get the magnets out of it, and essentially, and well, take that and kind of squeeze its head, kind of like squeezing the water out of a sponge, and a few little tricky things, and a couple of little interesting mathematic things is tricky to maximize off the existing dynamics that's not in the flux of the earth, but on 1 + 1 = 2 is instead of running to 0 on a creation thing, which is about a 12% net loss, which doesn't make sense, but everybody thinks it's 0. No, it's 0 balance as far as the thing, but the net well, people, oh, but they're so smart. No, they're not. But in the meantime, I just decided, well, things that they just figured they're going to entitle to basically figure they can start me down until I'm going to pay, please, 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 you're taken, and I can have the privilege of saying I got ripped off by those really important people, and that was mine, and they'll everybody know it, and I'm going to know. I just basically sent it off to some people that basically dealt straight across and were real with me straight from the first. Can't help but respect people that deal straight across from an old set-fashioned way instead of this shifty and working around and throwing you into the bus here, trying to basically wipe you out to keep their incompetent things and prove that their way is better, just on principle, because I didn't want to have any deal with that. I kind of transported in on a system of transfer that there was no other way they could see it. So as far as these big, rich, influential oligarchs and that and all those billions and stuff, it's gone somewhere else, and so what? But doesn't matter. I mean, there was no benefit even if I would have had money out of here, because I would have had to deal with people I didn't want to have anything to do with anyway, so I put it up there. But consideration as far as some books or some movies or thought rights or whatever, yeah, if you want to get a hold of me in that. And as far as recycling those plastic things and some environmental and some of that, I'd be happy to help with that as far as the cleanup. But as far as the technologies and that, I just sent it off to a place that I'd far rather end up as far as things in kind of a decent, respectable neighborhood to possibly meet a nice girl and still have some, you know, have a family or something, or at least help her find a decent guy and sit around and help babysit the kids if they want to go out and have a good time and unwind at the end of a week and kind of get into those family things. But I was kind of deprived and I basically stood in the way of some diabolical psychiatrists and those people on the basis of information and things that he was too busy corrupting and ruining social time and having no respect for anybody's dignity. And God knows he didn't want me to basically get happily married to conduct myself in an honorable regard and set an example that he and everybody else is trying to discard and show no merit for. But too bad. But what happened? Well, millions and billions. And as far as that thing for Apple and stuff, and that different thing that's still worth a gazillion, I still got that in my back pocket, but there's going to have to be some points. But as far as real estate development, that, excuse me, I'll give you the overall design, and sure, I'll kind of be associated and help sequence the job site and run the efficiencies and show you the realities and hook you up with the people. But essentially, I wanted what I wanted a few years ago, and I fairly had wanted a few points, but they ripped me off. And as far as even if they settled up now, I'm sorry, it's just people, and it's the paradigm that's financing something that's just destroying the planet. Pardon me, it would be beneath me. Basically, it would compromise my integrity of my portfolio and my dignity to be associated with lowlifes, no matter how high up in ivory towers and their bank accounts they are. That's basically going down the toilet with all these things about showing that it's not a case of building an economy where everybody gets benefit and better. It's just a case to rip and gouge and have a few and basically leave everybody else hamstrung and destitute in this continent for the sake of something that makes no bloody sense. But that's the ignorant and the diabolical that's running and trying to basically show how good they know how to basically take care of people and know how to handle things. Well, I showed up what I thought of it and handled it. I just sent it someplace else. But as I say, as far as books and that about things and stuff, and well, And for what it's worth, you can get a hold of me, but contact information is right below this video. That's right. And essentially, yeah, we'll see you later. And as I say, don't leave anything on this thing anymore. It's too fakey. If you're real, you'll be real sensible and get a hold of me where it makes sense over at YouTube. And in the meantime, it's been good knowing some of you. And it's good that I never had to have the misfortune of running into some other people I thought might have wanted to be respectable and fair about doing some fair business. They do it with everybody else. But as I say, well, basically just on the basis of ignorance for no reason. That's how they treated me on the practicality. We'll right back at you because you got what you deserved. In the meantime, best regards, and too bad for the rest of the people that basically got left out because of the people that do those things to you. So don't hold me accountable. I tried, but all I did was basically have attempts in my life and being treated like a piece of crap for coming up with some stuff that do wonders for the planet. But that's the thing. There's so many people in charge that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. But that QAnon and all those things that somebody at the top end actually knows about and uses them to his advantage in order to screw everybody on the illusion so he can have it all. So he's going to go down the toilet as a result of the real thing that he's getting suckered with too. Well, it's not my fault. And if I was everybody else that's in a position to basically clear out his desk and that, you folks don't do it, don't blame me. At least I pointed out clearly what's going on and all those other things that facilitated back to so many other tragic things that he basically gets what he's coming and ends up in a cardboard box and gets what he deserves. Gosh darn right. Can't say as I say anybody made a wrong decision by having it happen to him. In the meantime, best regards.